Most spectacular game winners in NBA history. Game-winning shots are one of the most exciting things to happen in the NBA. Throughout league history, we've seen a variety of game-winning shots that still shock audiences to this day when they see it.
Booker, got it! Are you kidding me?
Today we're gonna cover some of the most insane game winners of all time. Stick around until the end of the video to see a shot that was so great, it literally sparked a rebuild for a franchise. I apologize in advance for anybody who had to watch their favorite team on the other end of some of these plays. The first game winner that we're gonna cover here was essentially the start of Damian Lillard's incredible career as a point guard. The Portland Trail Blazers superstar found himself down by 2 points with 0.9 seconds left on the clock.
Lillard puts it up and got it!
Not only that, but the Blazers were going up against the Houston Rockets in a crucial Game 6 matchup. The play was originally set for another player according to some players on the court at that time. But Lillard realized what was going on and instantly took action. He flew up to the ball and drilled a three-pointer as the time expired to not only sink the Rockets, but to close the series and advance Portland further into the postseason.
Oh, he's bumped. The bucket's gonna count.
The next game winner that we're gonna talk about is often forgotten about in league history. The New Orleans Pelicans were taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder with just 1.2 seconds left on the clock. It was a tied game at 1-1-3, and the Pelicans had the basketball on the inbounds. After some initial confusion, they eventually found a way to put the ball right in the hands of Anthony Davis. Davis caught it deep behind the three-point line, while Kevin Durant and another help defender came crashing over to him to contest the shot.
So Westbrook.
They contested it so well that it forced AD to get such an awkward jump shot off as he was falling down onto the ground. Somehow, he found a way to get it to drop to send the Pelicans over the Thunder for the massive win. Moving on to another game winner. This might be the toughest shot so far in this video. While the circumstances weren't as dire as Lillard's in the playoffs, Jeff Malone and the Washington Bullets did something that quite literally nobody expected to happen. The opposing team missed their shot as the clock rapidly marched down and they tossed the ball up the court to Malone. The ball was a little off its target as Malone was forced to track it down to the baseline in an effort to keep it in play. He got to it at the very last second and chucked up a behind-the-backboard three-pointer from the corner as he was falling out of bounds that somehow found a way to go up and in to give the Bullets the victory. What's even funnier about this game winner is that the commentator of this particular game said, and I quote, "Malone throws a brick on the left side. Ooh, what a shot!" The commentators didn't even think that this shot had a chance of going in, and it shocked everybody when it did. Then we have the legendary game-winning shot that Toni Kukoc put up for the Chicago Bulls against the Indiana Pacers. But before we dive straight into the jump shot that ended it, you might need a little context to show why this shot was so spectacular. The Indiana Pacers held onto the ball for their entire possession right beforehand and dished it to Reggie Miller, who drained deep mid-range as the clock got down to 0.8 seconds left. After the shot fell for him, Miller looked around the court and took a bow for all the people in the stands. The very next possession saw the Bulls dish it out to Kukoc, who got the ball out of his hands in less than a second and drilled it to send the Pacers home with a 1-point loss. One of the greatest three-point shooters ever is Reggie Miller, getting completely embarrassed by Kukoc on this tough game winner. We all knew that this video wouldn't be complete if we didn't include this Steph Curry game-winning shot over Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Steph took the ball at his own end of the court and dribbled all the way up as the Thunders reversed back on defense. Without even hesitating, Steph launched a moonball three-pointer one step across the half-court line and absolutely drilled it to send the Thunders packing. It wasn't a time-expiring shot, but he left just 0.6 seconds on the clock, which the Thunders couldn't convert into points. There aren't many people that become a scoring threat the second that they cross the half-court line, but Curry is the obvious exception to that rule. Devin Harris and the New Jersey Nets were taking on the Philadelphia 76ers in this particular matchup. Philly held on to a minimal 1-point lead with only a couple of seconds on the clock. To make matters worse, the Nets didn't have a timeout to get to the other end of the court so they could get a shot off. It forced them to inbound on their own end and hope for the best on the final second. Devin Harris caught the inbounds and went to shoot at half court, but had the ball kind of tipped out of his hands. He flailed for a second to try and draw the foul, but realized he wouldn't get one, so he caught the basketball in midair after releasing it and launched it from the logo to win the game for the Nets. It's a little confusing how it all happened, but the bottom line is that Devin lost the basketball in the air, regained possession, and flipped up a half-court game-winning three, all in under 1 second of time. Absolutely ridiculous. Then we have this insane Kobe Bryant game winner against the Phoenix Suns in the NBA playoffs. It was the first round in the Western Conference postseason, and the Los Angeles Lakers were the 7th seed against the 2-seeded Suns. Phoenix had a 2-point lead with just 7 seconds left in regulation, but a steal led to Kobe getting a floater layup attempt on the other end as the clock expired to send the game into overtime in crazy fashion.
Off the clock by not being close to a man.
Fast forward a few minutes into overtime, and the game was on the line once more. There was 6 seconds on the clock with the Suns leading by 1 point and the Lakers in a jump ball situation. Bryant found the ball bounce right towards him, and he marched down the floor to try and send Phoenix packing for the night. Then, in double coverage, with 1 second left on the clock, Bryant did what he's best at and pulled a mid-range follow-away jumper that dropped to give the Lakers the win. Los Angeles pulled to a 3-1 lead in the series as well to put the Phoenix in a hole that only a few teams have been able to get out of. To wrap this video up, we have a game winner that absolutely broke the internet when it happened. Lillard and the Trail Blazers were taking on Paul George, Westbrook, and the Thunder. It was the first round of the playoffs, and Dame was going back and forth with both George and Russ with the trash talk since the series began. It was clear that these guys didn't like each other on the court. Portland had a 3-1 series lead at this point and were tied at 1-1-5 with 12 seconds remaining in Game 5. Lillard held the ball about 40 feet away from the basket for way longer than anybody expected, with George standing right in front of him. Instead of doing what everybody expected, which was drive to the rim and look for a better shot, he simply sidestepped even further away from the rim and just drilled a tremendously deep triple to end the Thunder's season and push Portland further into the playoffs. Nobody sees that type of shot with the game on the line like that from anyone outside of Steph Curry. That will do it for this video on the most spectacular game winners in league history at the moment. Be sure to ring the notification bell and smash that subscribe button so that you never miss any of our videos. Thank you all so much for watching, and leave a comment below if there was a game winner that we missed.
Oh my God!